Hello, everyone. Welcome. You're tuning in with Jennifer and Blake for What's New at Rise Vision. We have some exciting updates. We're really excited to be here to share them with you. All right, let's get going. So I think everybody can see my screen. Welcome, everybody. My name is Jennifer. I'm the Growth Marketing Manager here at Rise Vision, and we have Blake. He is our Senior Account Executive for the Northwest. But Blake, before that, you used to be in customer success. So you have been with Rise Vision for many years.
I know
People,
most of these names.
yeah.
Know most of the names that are here for sure.
Perfect. You've probably all of you have probably chatted with Blake at some point or another. Today, let me just scooch over my screen to the next point. If I can find my cursor, there it is. So we're going to be going over a couple of demos, some new things that we're offering, expanded hardware and pricing options, those new features like I mentioned. We have a UX refresh, so within the app is going to look a little bit different. We have that social media integration for Meta, which has been really popular, and we're really excited to have that. Live streaming is a new feature that we teased last month in the tips and tricks webinar. Mobile screen sharing is new, and then cascading CAP alerts as well. We are going to have a QA at the end, so you can save your questions for then, or you can put your questions in the chat or use the Q&A feature. So before we get going, I just wanted to ask, I'm going to put this question in the chat, but what are some of the biggest challenges that you face today with digital signage? Attendees, everybody that's here, you can drop in the chat. What are some of the biggest challenges that you're facing today in terms of digital signage? A couple of issues of challenges that people are having. Matt, streaming to multiple devices at once. That is something that I think is on the roadmap for our screen sharing. Blake, do you have any insight into that?
I don't. It's come up a lot, but I believe our head of product is considering it for the roadmap. But it is very popular subject right now.
Yeah, Matt, I'll make sure that request gets to our product. Allison, encouraging others to create content. Allison, that is definitely tricky to get people to buy in and want to create content. So that is a good challenge. We do have a webinar in April coming up talking about design. So that might be something that you want to check out, but I will take that away and think about that and come up with some ideas of how you can encourage others. Jeremy says keeping them up to date. Yeah, you got to keep the system up to date, keep the content fresh because otherwise people don't look at it. So that's definitely something to think about.
Got to use those auto updating templates. We have
Yeah.
about 50 in the template library that update every single day. They're our most popular templates going. That way, even if you don't have someone at your organization that can update every day, you're still getting new stuff on the screens.
Yeah. Love that. Mike, you're experiencing choppy video. That is something that we have heard. It could be related to your media player. We will be talking about some different hardware options today, so maybe you want to tune or you want to stay around for that. But if you're continuing to run into issues, then definitely reach out to support and they can help you out or come to or help troubleshoot that issue. Cassandra, making it worth the look by parents and students. Ooh, that's tough because of course I'm going to say, and my experience is like having that communication and that digital signage is super valuable because it does present so much information for people. So I'm surprised that parents and students don't want to look at it. Cassandra, one thing I do hear from multiple people or schools that I've talked to is you just have to find what people like and what your audience likes, and it might be different for your organization or your school. I've talked to high schools that their students think it's absolutely mortifying to have their birthdays announced on the digital signage. And then we have the lower grades that think it's amazing and it's the highlight of their day when their birthday comes up. We have one customer I think they're in Wisconsin. Anyways, I'm not 100% sure, but their company is really big into hunting. So they have a lot of hunting and fishing content and share the biggest bucks and the biggest fish. You just have to find what works, what resonates with your audience. Jill, getting Rise Vision to jive with newer smartboard. Okay. Definitely reach out to support. Matthew would love to find a way to better integrate calendar events. Okay, we have a couple of different options. I think we have a template now for Outlook and Google Calendar. Blake, is that correct?
Yes, we have Outlook and Google Calendar enabled on all of our calendar templates that sync with external calendars. So it's a pretty great feature to have.
All right. I would love to go through everybody's challenges. I'm going to go through these afterwards and share resources with or share with our product team if we need to. I would recommend anybody who's having issues to reach out to support. We do also have a lot of resources in our blog and in our help center.
If I may, Wanda Prothero, she mentioned that she's just learning how to use Rise Vision and didn't get any training. We do have free training every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central, Wanda. If you go to risevision.com/webinars, you can sign up there. It's a great resource for you since you're just starting. Sorry,
Yeah.
Jennifer, go ahead.
Nope, that's okay. Good. Some people end up in this webinar thinking that they're at the training, but we do have the free training every Thursday. So you'll definitely want to check that out. Blake, okay, I'm going to turn it over to you. So we're starting with our expanded hardware options. We have some really cool things going. So Blake, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for being here, everyone. Really excited to bring you some of these new features and the new hardware that Rise Vision has put together for you. So last year, we did introduce our media player as well as the R series all-in-one displays. This year, we're excited to announce that we're introducing further sizes based on your feedback of the all-in-one K series display. So the all-in-one K series display goes from 55 to 98 inches. Depending on your use case, we did get a lot of feedback that 43 and 55-inch screens were just not big enough for some of your applications. So you can do everything from a classroom display to a full video wall in a lobby with our 98-inch display. They are designed for Rise Vision as a single purpose device. They flawlessly handle demanding schedules, whether it's 4K video, animations, a long schedule of content. And they are designed for our digital signage, screen sharing, and emergency alerts. They don't require a media player. Everything is built into this one K series smart TV, and you're going to be able to set them up in minutes. I had a customer say that this is the easiest, most turnkey solution in digital signage today. All of them, except for the 98-inch, come in box with wall mounts. So all you have to do is, if you're mounting them on the wall, put up the wall mount, connect it to power, and then you're going to use the remote to connect it to your Wi-Fi network. After that, you can start managing your display by activating it within Rise Vision. The display will show a 5-digit activation code. You activate it within your Rise Vision application, and within 15 to 20 seconds, your content is going to be showing up on that display. Makes it really easy to manage displays across multiple locations as well. So I mentioned we have multiple different sizes of the K series: 55, 65, 75, 85, and 98 inch to fit any space and any need. Along with that, we're going to continue offering our media players, which are incredibly popular right now, and all of our devices are extremely reliable. As I mentioned, you may want a 55-inch or a 65-inch for a classroom or a common area, a conference area, and then the 85 and 95 for entryways, lobbies, collaborative spaces where you might utilize screen sharing as well as digital signage and emergency announcements. Jennifer, am I missing anything on that? I think that's it before the purchase options.
Mhm.
All right. So as far as purchasing, we have a couple of different options for you. This applies to both the media player, the existing R series, and the K series that's just been released. First off, we have the hardware as a service option. So hardware as a service is going to give you lower upfront costs, easy upgrades, and included maintenance. They come on a 3 or 5 year subscription with a warranty that extends to the life of that subscription. All shipping is included with hardware as a service. So the initial shipping will be included, as well as any advanced replacements that need to be shipped. One really great thing about our hardware as a service is it's like a white glove service from Rise Vision. We take care of all of the updates, all of the software security updates to these devices for you. So you're never going to have to connect the mouse and keyboard to them. You're never going to have to get into the technical nitty gritty of these devices. And you're never going to see any error messages on the devices. I don't know if any of you have experience with like a Windows media player where you get the upgrade notifications. You're not going to get those on our media player or any of our all-in-one devices. We handle all of those updates for you. Your signage is never going to be interrupted by operating system prompts. These are single purpose devices. We test all of the software rollouts for them extensively before they are rolled out, and we take care of those overnight for you. Phone, email, and remote desktop support is included with the hardware as a service. So if you have a problem you can contact us directly. Our support that you already probably use and know and love is included with these devices. You don't have to deal with a third-party hardware vendor. You email support@risevision.com. We respond within 1 business hour, and we remote into the device to take care of any issues. If we can't take care of any issues, the extent of your troubleshooting is going to be a power cycle. Unplug it, plug it back in, flip the breaker. If we still can't get it up and running, you're going to be in line for an RMA then, which is about 2 to 5 days shipping, depending on the make and model of the hardware that you need replaced. Upon your renewal of 3 or 5 years, you get upgraded hardware. Maybe they're showing some signs of age, slowing down at the end of that 5 years. We will ship you a new unit. You ship the old one back to us, and you renew your contract with us to get the newest hardware. This applies to both the all-in-one screens, R and K series, as well as the media player. We did just introduce Outright as well. So Outright, you pay one time up front, and you own the device permanently. It does come with a 2-year warranty on all hardware. The initial shipping is included in that outright price, but you would then cover advanced and replacement shipping on the devices. This does include phone and email support, but no OTA updates on these devices and no remote desktop support on these devices. If you are locked into not being able to do long-term contracts by your organization, Outright is definitely an option for you. I think I already covered this. Sorry, Jennifer.
Oh,
Again,
sorry. I've been
that
answering
white glove
people's
service.
questions. Sorry, Blake. I just want to go back. We had a couple of questions about the R series and K series. So while you have a drink of water, I'm just going to go back in our presentation. So Matt had a question. What type of screen is on these R and K series?
That is a great technical question. I just had this open, and I believe they're LED or LCD, but I would have to double check here. We have a great spec doc that I just had open and provided to a customer yesterday. Let me look and see if I can find that, and then I will get back to you.
Okay, Matt, stand by. I'm also going to put a link into the landing page on our website about these displays. So you should be able to find more information about them there as well. Brad is wondering, do the displays have Ethernet and Wi-Fi?
They do. They have Ethernet as well as 2.4 and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi.
Okay. And then Scott was asking, what's the difference between the R series and the K series? I think this is a good question.
There's a couple differences. The main difference is the sizing. R series came in 43 and 55 inch. K series comes in 55 through 98 inch. The second biggest difference is the operating system. So the R series runs on Android 11 on an A55 CPU, and the K series runs on Android 14 with an A73 CPU. There's some hardware improvements from the K series to the R series as well. I can send you the spec sheet if that's something that you need.
All right, perfect. And then last question or last two questions about the R series and K series. Are they commercial screens and can we change the orientation to vertical?
Yes, they are. They're prosumer displays, so that means they're rated for 16 hours a day, 7 days a week operation, and they do support portrait and landscape mode.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't find the details on the screen type, but I know they're in here somewhere. I'll follow up with you.
All right. And then, sorry, seriously, the last question about the K series. Are the smaller devices fanless?
I
It's about the media
believe
players.
all of them are fanless. The media players are passively cooled. The 55
Mhm.
inch that I have behind me is also passively cooled,
Okay,
which means no fans.
perfect. All right, Blake. So we talked about the benefits of HAS, which is amazing. Let's get into the new features. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and Blake, I'm going to let you share your screen to go over these deep dives.
All right, sounds good. And I apologize, my AirPods just started dying, of course. That's great. Okay, so we are going to talk about our new features, which is really exciting. I'm sure if you're already a Rise Vision user, you've already seen this first one. Let me share my screen here. Okay, so this new feature is a total user experience refresh. As most of you, we have been the same look, the same feel for many years. I've been with the company almost 11 years, and the UX has changed very rarely since I started here. So I'm sure when you logged in the first time, you were a little bit shocked to see this. It's a great, intuitive new interface with a new side navigation here. All of your presentations are going to be here on the left-hand side. Everything on the navigation is here on the left-hand side. You can navigate to sub-companies here through the new sub-company menu. And then the same company info and user info that you know and love is here on the right-hand side. One thing I don't want you to miss is we used to have a big green help button, and now it's replaced with this question mark. This is the same help situation that you had before. So if you need to find some answers from our help center, if you're a DIYer or you want to sign up for training, or you are in a pickle and you need to contact our support, all of that is the same here. Some great features stayed the same, as well as the new navigation.
Sorry, and just to piggyback off
There's,
that, we do have more
yep,
changes coming. I think we're doing
yeah,
it in two more rollouts. So all of the changes will be implemented by May 1st. So this isn't the end.
yes.
There's more great things coming.
Yeah, we're looking at some bulk action changes, table list updates, and I think we've got a few other pretty great features on the roadmap for that as well. So it's exciting. This is just the first part of that. If you have any questions on this, please reach out. But it's really easy to get used to. I'm already used to it after using the old one for the past 10 years. So, um, yeah, our CAP alerts are here at the bottom too, which makes it a little bit easier and at the forefront to navigate to. This is a wonderful feature that a lot of organizations think about using, but maybe don't act on. It's here right in the front and center for you guys to remind you to set it up if it's something that you want to take advantage of. Excuse me.
I think if anybody has any questions about the new UX, please let us know. But I think you can move on to the social media integration.
Okay. Yeah, this is a big one. This is the one that we've been getting asked a lot about. So we have a new social media integration for Meta. This will allow you to get Facebook and Instagram feeds on your signage, and you can showcase how many follows you have at your organization as well. So for this one, I'm just going to go to the playlist template, and I'm going to go ahead and click start with this template. And under base components here, I'm going to click playlist and add. And you see here, we have a few new options. So social media posts and social media followers are here at the forefront. If I click social media posts, it's very easy to set up. As you see here, we have some demo content that you can get scrolling on your screen, or you can show just a single post. As usual, you can tell us how many posts you actually want to show, how long each post should show for, and if you should show the caption, show videos, or if you want to shuffle those posts, you can. Now, this is going to grab a direct feed from a Facebook page, a Facebook profile, or an Instagram profile. And all of our instructions for this are documented in our help center. So it's really easy to get this set up. This is something that people have been asking for. They've been having to use third parties to show their social media on Rise Vision previously. And this is included on every subscription advanced tier and up. Really nice feature here to showcase your social media. We also have the followers option here. So you can easily add a feed here to show how many followers you have on Instagram and Facebook. This is really popular with organizations and schools that just want to show off their social media following. Again, really easy to set up. You just link your Facebook page or your Instagram. You can't link personal Facebook pages on this because I don't think they do followers on personal Facebook pages.
Yeah. Blake, a question that's coming in from
Mhm.
Scooter. For Facebook, do we still need to have the Facebook user account credentials? So, Scooter, you do need to be an admin of the Facebook or the Instagram account that you're trying to connect. I don't believe you have to log in, but there's an integration between the two platforms. So, you do need to be an admin to make that connection.
Yeah, you're going to have to connect with your Instagram or your Facebook account in order to grab that info for the posts.
Yeah.
This way it can show it if it's set to private, which some K-12 schools do set their Instagram pages to private. Only students and staff and parents can follow.
So, when you're with Facebook, you'll have your personal page, and then if you're made an admin of a club's page or a school's page or whatever the case is, then you'll be able to connect it through this integration. Albania, yes, there is a spot for all the resources and training. Blake, do you want to just show everybody again where they can find more information if they have questions?
Yeah, just click the question mark button up here and type social media, I think is what this one is under. Yeah, how can I show social media feeds on my display? And there's a couple of different options here. I think maybe we have one specific for Instagram. We've been releasing so much that here it is. We've been releasing so much that our support team is a day or two behind on some of these help center articles, but this one's already up here. So just search for Instagram or Facebook here in the help center, and it'll walk you through it even as a video walkthrough. This is something new that we're doing on all of our new features so folks can get up to speed real quick.
Kim, good question. It shouldn't ask for the credentials for Facebook. It should only ask for the credentials the first time, not every time you log into Rise Vision. So it's going to connect the first time and then
Right.
maintain that connection.
Correct. Yep.
All right. Blake, the next one is the live streaming. So we teased this in the February webinar with Shay, but I'm really excited for you to show everybody the live streaming feature.
Yeah, this is a great one. So we can actually now show HLS live streams. This is a big feature for schools, especially that want to do morning announcements or important announcements from the offices, and other organizations that want to show corporate meetings to branch locations. You can easily get these on all of your displays with our HLS live stream functionality. So again, I'm going to go into a playlist, and for my base component, I'm going to click add, and I'm going to add the video streaming. So this is specific for HLS live streams. If you're streaming over YouTube, you can still use our YouTube integration for YouTube live streams. For this one, it's very simple. You just add your HLS link here. You set the volume, and if you don't want volume or if you want it cranked up all the way, if your HLS live stream supports alternative language audio or alternative language subtitles or closed captioning, you can select those here as well. This specific demo one that I'm using does not support either of those, but if your specific HLS does, then you would be able to select those here. You can then push these out to all of your displays really easily through our announcements feature. So that would be, I have this schedule here set up for live stream. And what I would do is I would just check show on all displays, make sure it's set to override replace, and then click save. And then all of my displays would change to this HLS live stream that I have set up. We do have a Help Center article coming for HLS live streaming as well, but this is a big feature that's been requested a number of times. So we're really proud to bring this to you in such a simple and an easy way.
Amazing. Okay, Blake, a couple of questions about the live streaming. Philip wants to know, can we use this with Vimeo?
With Vimeo, I'm not sure if they support HLS live stream. If they do, then it would be supported. I have not tested that personally. I don't know if we've tested it as an organization. You could email support@risevision.com for more details on that one.
Philip asking the hard questions. Some of these webinars, like the February one with Shay, people were asking like really hard questions, which is great. Some of them we have to take back to our product team. Sally says, love being able to share our social media. Just set it up and it was quick and easy. Perfect. So glad to hear that, Sally. And then Scooter has a question about the live streaming. So if the stream comes up and has the play button in the middle of the screen, does Rise somehow hit that button or tell it to play? How does that work, Blake?
With HLS, it should be, we have a tag in there that prompts auto start. It should automatically start. You shouldn't have to interact with it in any way.
Perfect. There you go, Scooter. All right. We did have a request to show screen sharing. We actually did a webinar on screen sharing last year. We've talked about it quite a bit, but we are going to share today about the mobile screen sharing, which is a new-ish feature. So Blake, once he gets all squared away, he's going to demonstrate that. But if you are curious to learn more about screen sharing, just in general, we did have that webinar. I'm going to drop the link in the chat if you want to watch it.
I'm having some technical difficulties here, so I may have to demo this on my R series behind me instead.
All right, that's okay. So
Okay.
with the screen sharing, we have two modes, standard mode and then the moderator mode. So both have benefits and both have really different use cases depending on your school or your organization. But the mobile feature is great now because you can share from your tablet or your phone to your device.
Yeah. So I do have it set up on my R series back here. I don't know if you can see that at the bottom left of my screen. There's a risevision.com/join code there. So you can easily screencast from any screen. But in this example, I'm going to show you our new mobile screen share, which can be done from an Android or an iOS device. We have a dedicated app for this. So I'm going to go ahead and share my Android emulator here, and I'm going to open up the RV Share application. So when you open the RV Share application, it asks for the session code. So I'm going to type mine in, put in my name, and click Start Sharing. And then I'm going to type in the PIN code, which is 4444 for this one, and click Start Sharing. Now I can open up any app on my phone, including, and of course, I think it closed on me because that's the kind of day that I'm having reshare. There we go. Let me try this one more time. There we go.
You might have missed the start share button last time.
Yeah, I think I did. So now I can go to any app that I have open on my phone and share that to my screen. So as you can see, here's the latest March Madness scores. Let me stop sharing so you can actually see it on my screen behind me. As you can see, I've got the share from my Android device here. It scrolls very quickly along with the tab switching as well. This is available on iOS and Android. Just search the marketplace for Rise Vision Share or RV Share, and you'll get access to sharing to your Rise Vision displays from your mobile device.
And it's really more or less the same process if you're sharing from your mobile or your computer, Blake.
Yeah, so on your computer, you're just going to go to risevision.com/join and use the join code. For Android or iOS, you're going to have to download the app to do it. So very similar, but you do need the dedicated app for mobile.
But then what the process once you have that to get to be sharing is very simple and it's more or less the same.
Yeah, just join with the session code, and if you have a PIN number, use that. Or if you're using moderated mode, you would join in the same way as joining on the desktop.
Perfect. So if there's no questions about the screen sharing, we can move on. The Cascading CAP Alerts, I think is really awesome. So Blake, I'm excited for you to explain a little bit more about that as well.
Yeah, this is a great new feature. A lot of requests on this one from higher education and from enterprise organizations. So cascading CAP alerts would be used for if you have multiple sub companies in Rise Vision that are all on the same campus or all in the same building. Let's say you're a K-12 school, and as a K-12 school, you segment your cafeteria from your gymnasium and your gymnasium from your science labs so they can all be individually moderated with their own users on their own displays and their own content. What happens if there is an emergency in that school that has all of these different sub companies? Previously, you wouldn't be able to push out alerts to all of these sub companies. Okay. Now with CAP alerts, you can actually deliver two displays on all sub companies. So the way this would work is, let's say you're a higher ed organization with a campus in Kansas City, Missouri. You set up your parent company for Kansas City, Missouri, a university, and then all of your sub companies for the individual buildings. You allow show on all displays and sub companies here and click save. And now when a warning message comes in from your emergency management system, it's going to cascade down to all of those sub companies or even sub companies within your organization. This isn't really something that you would use in a large K-12 school district that's in multiple different locations, but there's definitely significance to this for K-12 as well as higher education and enterprise organizations. And as usual, we do have our CAP warning templates. and we integrate with many emergency management services. Any of them that support CAP 1.2, we do integrate with, and it's a very straightforward and simple process. You provide your Rise Vision endpoint to the emergency management service. They provide you with an authentication name and password, and then you set up your warning messages here.
Kim had a question, and I think this was related to the cap alerts, but why is it not good in large districts?
So in a large district, if you had a parent company, let's say for Kansas City Public Schools, I live in a suburb of Kansas City, so I'm going to use them as an example. They have schools within a huge radius here in Kansas City. So what affects one school, like a lockdown or a fire alarm, maybe even like a tornado warning, may not affect a school across the city from them. So you probably wouldn't want to set up cascading alerts from the district level to all of the schools in the district. Instead, you would want to pinpoint the locations of those districts with your emergency management service so that they can have individualized warning messages. Now, if there is a warning in your EMS that needs to go out to all schools, you can certainly send that to all schools still without using this feature. But if you have a widely dispersed school district, you're probably not going to have the same alerts on at one school that you have in one that's 10 miles, 15 miles away.
That is a really good point, I guess. When you think of a district, you might think of it being all in one area, not very spread
Yeah,
out.
some are. A lot of the districts that I work with are contained within one school building, even. If that's the case, then absolutely this would apply to you. But for the more widespread districts, you're probably going to want to think about setting up individual cap alerts for those buildings.
All right, we are coming up on the 15-minute mark for our Q&A. So Ashley and Paul had talked about different emergency alerts. So we integrate with Raptor and Alertus. We integrate with them and Crisis Go and Single Wire. So we have quite a few that we integrate with. And if you wanted to check, you could look at your emergency alert provider and see if they have support cap alerts. And if they do, then we would be able to integrate with them. How about Ruvna? Have you ever
Ravna, yeah.
Ruvna? You've heard of that?
Yes, we've tested on Ravna.
Cool. All right. So last demo before we get into the Q&A is talking about the SSO. So Blake, if you'll just allow me to share my screen again.
Oh, I guess if you want to.
You're still going to talk about it. I'm just going to share my screen for you. Oh, that's not the one. There we go. All right. Blake, take it away.
Yeah, we have streamlined user management and centralized control over users with provisioning SSO. So you can easily use your identity provider like Google or Microsoft to add users and assign specific roles for permission control within Rise Vision. You can revoke user access directly from your identity provider or modify user credentials through the identity provider. This integration is really going to streamline your management in some of those bigger, more enterprise level Rise Vision accounts where you have a lot of users and you need a good way to manage them. Especially adding and revoking user permissions is extremely valuable on your digital signage as far as the onboarding and offboarding process. So we've tried to make this as easy as possible for you. All of the details for this are available in our help center as well. So it's pretty straightforward, but if you need any help, that help center article is already there for you.
Blake, a couple questions about SEO. Jamie's asking, can you connect with Ping ID? Pinged?
I do not know. I've not heard of that one. It's an
Hmm.
MFA solution.
Good
Maybe.
question, Jamie.
I'm not sure. You may want to contact support on that one. They would know for sure, or be able to get that answer from you from our development team, more likely.
Mhm. Paul, you're asking some really good questions about the enterprise level features. Using SSO and user controls, can you assign a user into multiple sub companies?
You can do this by assigning them to the parent company, but currently you can't select multiple sub companies for a user to be a part of. This is something that we've discussed and has made it to product a number of times. As it comes up more, I'm sure it's something that we'll consider being able to add a user and a parent company to specific sub companies.
Right. All right, we have 15 minutes, so we can now open it up to questions. Jill is asking, if anybody streams Huddle to Rise, I'm assuming that's some sort of Netflix-esque platform. The only thing, Jill, I would say with that is be careful. You can run into licensing issues sharing those consumer grade Netflix and Disney Plus and YouTube. You can run into some issues with licensing if you're using it in the school setting.
So
Huddle is
Huddle
local
is,
sports. Sorry.
yeah, it's a great platform for local sports. And I have seen Rise users streaming to Huddle. Um, it's pretty simple. You can use either the web page template or their embedded HTML snippet. I don't know if they have HLS on their streams, but if they did, you could use that HLS video stream component that I demoed earlier today as well.
Cool, cool. Blake, question from Scooter. Is there a way to set up a user to only have access to one unit,
Yeah.
I guess, display and not the others? For example, we want to have the athletic secretary to only be able to access the display in the gym lobby. So how would you set that
Mhm.
up?
Yeah, so you'll need you'll need enterprise licensing to do that, but that's the exact use case for our teacher role. So when you add a user as a teacher, you'll also be able to assign them their displays within Rise Vision as well as their schedules. They'll create whatever presentations they need, but you'll assign them specifically to displays and schedules. And when they log in, that's all they're going to see.
Perfect. Nice, easy solution. Nice, easy answer. Love that. I'm just scrolling back to the very top to go through any questions that we weren't able to talk about in the beginning or that weren't on topic. Okay, Tim Cooper has a question here. What's an easier way to share a Rise Vision presentation across companies and schools without having to copy to each company manually and not using Google Slides or PowerPoint? Ooh.
Okay, we do have a solution for this, but we're aware it needs improvement. If you are wanting to share a template, first off, the requirement is it has to be created in the parent company. You can't share from sub company to sub company or from sub company to parent company. You can only share from the top down at this point in time. But let's say I wanted to share my office display template with my sub companies. I would just go into Office Display here, this presentation, click the three dots, and then click Save Presentation as a template. If I click yes here and then publish, it's going to appear in the templates section of all of my sub companies throughout my organization within Rise Vision.
Ooh.
Again, this does need to be improved. We're aware of that. And sharing from sub company to sub company and sub company up to parent company is definitely something that's come up.
Great, Tim. Let us know if that answers your question. Jamie had a question about the new UX. Does it allow you to preview playlists? So this is actually a popular request I saw in the chat.
So in order to preview playlists, you can't do it through presentations. You would have to do it through schedules. So here you assign the presentation to your schedule, and then it's going to preview it here. You can even apply that timeline to the preview. So if you have specific templates within this playlist that are only supposed to appear at certain times of the day, those won't appear if you have apply timeline selected. You can also share this URL and open up a new tab, see it full screen with the share URL. And
So
sorry for all the people that are snake phobic on the stream. I did not anticipate the European adder. Shout out to our CEO, Brian.
fun animal of the day, scary snake. All right. Jeffrey asks, is there a way to schedule a specific presentation to show up on a regular schedule? For example, next week's lunch menu to show up on that week for the regular schedule, or to add a presentation for the spring to show on that date to be added. So I think this is like, how do you pre-schedule things that you know are going to have to go out, like your lunch menu, or if you have a spring and like an Easter presentation, how can you pre-schedule those?
Sure. So just one thing to know about Rise Vision scheduling. If you can imagine a scenario that you would need to schedule something, you can do it in Rise Vision. Our scheduling app is incredibly deep. Let's say I just go to this classroom schedule here and Google Slides full screen. Let's say I want it to only show maybe next week. I would uncheck show all the time, and then I would click this hyperlink, and I would say, okay, I want this one to start on the 24th. I want it to end on the 28th.
I only want it to play from 2 p.m. until 5:30 p.m. Maybe I only want it to play Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of that week. You can do essentially anything that you need to do with Rise Vision schedules. Now, if you needed something to totally interrupt your existing signage, you could set up an override here to replace on the displays that you select. I'll just select these. I'll select my presentation here. And then I'll say, I want this to replace all of the signage that's on those screens, the 24th through the 28th. All day is good, every day is good. Set that up. And if I click save here, it's going to interrupt those screens with this office display content starting on the 24th until the 28th, at which point it'll expire and stop showing on the screens, go back to the default messaging that's on there.
Awesome. Blake, is there any way to see who owns a presentation?
Not really. You can see who last modified it, but you couldn't see who originally created it. You
Hmm.
could We could get that information from our end if it's really important to you. You could ask our support team to get that information for you, but that's not really a field that we bring front and center for presentations.
And sorry, I do want to answer a couple more questions. For Tim, from the sharing presentation question, the ability to push directly to sub companies plus the active display would be ideal. So I think you can do that from the parent company to the subs by doing an override. Blake, is that correct?
Yeah, you can. So you would come here and let's just select this. We would select displays from all sub companies. And then let's see here. It shows your sub company names here. I would be able to just go ahead and push that template to this test display in my industrial sub company. But you do have to, in the distribution list, select displays from all companies.
We do only have a couple of more minutes, so I don't think we're going to be able to get to everybody's question, but hopefully we can get to a couple more. Jessica, I've seen you write this a couple of times. Are there any event calendar templates that can run an RSS feed rather than Google Calendar or Microsoft Outlook?
Event calendars that run RSS. That's a great question. Let me see what this one pulls from really quick.
Jessica, I shared my email with you. You can reach out to me after this, and I will get you in touch with the correct or the right person, and we can see if we have another answer for this as well.
This one might work. You're going to find a
Events.
few Rise Vision templates that can be repurposed, even though they're not advertised for that specific thing. You could come here and do some customization and then replace the RSS feeds that appear here. And then you would have a couple little blocks of your calendar events here within Rise Vision.
Nice. All right. We just have 4 minutes left. Ooh, so much pressure. I want to say just again, if you have any questions about the Avacor R series or K series, I'm going to drop that link in the chat again for more information. And then the session it is recorded. We are going to send it out. If you do have any questions about how to use Rise Vision that we weren't able to answer here, you can definitely reach out to support. And then if you have any other questions or you have any question, or I just said that, if you have any questions, you can also send me an email, jennifer.jennings@risevision.com, and I'll field your questions. And then I just want to say thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Blake, taking time out of your day to be here and talk to us all and share this great information. If you're not following us on LinkedIn, I strongly suggest you do. We share lots of tips and tricks, upcoming events that are happening, lots of insights there. Coming up in April, we do have a design-focused webinar. So questions about customization, best practices, that's going to be in April. And then I do want to tease starting in May, we are going to have a new webinar session called Office Hours, and that's going to be featuring Rob, who's been with the company for 20 years. He's one of our customer success managers, and he is just going to be answering your questions. Any questions you have about Rise Vision, how to do stuff, that hour is just going to be him answering questions and demoing stuff. That isn't on the website yet, but it will be. So you'll definitely want to keep that in mind. It's going to be once a quarter. We'll see how popular it is. I suspect it will be very popular, but that's going to be coming up as well. So again, thank you all for being here. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can fill out that post-webinar survey, get a gift card, and we'll hopefully see you at the next one.
Thanks for bearing with me, everyone. I'm a little bit under the weather today, so I appreciate you being kind to me.